I'm Jonathan Attwell. I work for Naspers. We're a global investor, and I work in the product and growth team, and I focus primarily on growth and marketing, and I consult to the companies in our portfolio in that regard. Yeah, well, I have a big background in performance marketing and growth, so more than often turning $1 into $2. That's usually what I do most. My expertise in terms of verticals is mostly in e-commerce and consumer goods. That's mostly where I come from, but I've since broadened my horizons into other sectors. Yeah, well, I think for the most part I help them understand some fundamentals that need to be in place before they can actually grow. So establishing good basics before they head out into the world and try conquer bigger markets. And so I really stress on sweating the small stuff to really make things happen later down the line. Yeah, well, I think pulling from an example early on in my startup consulting days, it was really a startup came to me and mentioned their issues that they're having about growing and not being able to do, and the answer was seemingly obvious for me, and I knew exactly what they had to do from A, B, and C. But sometimes startup founders find it difficult to tackle the priorities or see the priorities as I do. And if I stress it enough times, eventually they may realize that it is a priority and they focus down on it. And simple things like mastering Facebook advertising or Google AdWords or something like that, or Google Analytics, and getting the tracking right and understanding where your customers come from. These kinds of things are seemingly quite technical and difficult to overcome, but I think in the particular example I'm thinking of, just continually pressuring them to really focus on those things and really sweat the details in those regards can make for a good result. And ultimately today, the startup that I helped back in 2013 is now a very popular coffee business in South Africa. And so it turned out pretty well, and they're masters of online marketing now. It's quite satisfying. I think making sure that they got all the fundamentals and all the building blocks in place before they start going after big ambitious projects is important. Always build from the ground up. I think that's always cool. Yeah, it's one issue I always see time and again in the startups. Although I'm a performance marketing and growth guy, the thing I get asked for help most on is HR and hiring the right people and getting the right skills in-house. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge that faces a lot of startups, particularly in the developing market right now, is just getting the skills right. But it's amazing what people can do these days by teaching themselves and teaching others as well and passing on their knowledge. And I think that's the biggest challenge that I see at the moment. Yeah, I think ruthlessly prioritize is often said, and I couldn't stress it more. I think that's very important. I think often we spend 80% of our time on 20% of whatever's driving value in our startups, and I think it's sometimes difficult to spend 80% of our time focusing on the things that drive 80% of the value. So sweat the priorities, I think, is the best piece of advice I can give.